In the last class, we saw about the design flow and basically we saw the partitioning part, how the software flow process is mapped with hardware flow, and how it is taken care before we start the complete design flow. And we also saw one example of a road transport monitoring system for this, where the logical structure and physical structure was partitioned, and also each one, how things were, what all comes under logical partitioning, what all comes under physical partitioning, and how each one has to be taken care, we saw in this application of road transport monitoring system. Then we had seen the design flow steps, because we are seeing each step in more detail. We could cover only the functional design and the functional verification in the last class. Now we have to go for the next part, because if people have done this using Xilinx, you all know that when you are doing functional verification means it is only up to the testing part, when you make test bench, and when if it is at a higher level complex digital system means the hardware software code verification is one most important part, which comes after the basic testing. And how a verification can be segregated into code coverage and functional coverage, what is good, what is bad, what is recommended, all that we had discussed in the last class. Now we have to start with the next part, design and verification after partitioning and all is over. Now comes your synthesis part. In synthesis, you know that when you have completed your design and completed your testing also, then we have to synthesize this. What do you mean by synthesis? Synthesis, when you have done in your software tool, you simply used to click one button of synthesis and everything was done on its own. So what is actually happening under synthesis is, it is refining the functional design, what you have done writing your program, refining the functional design to gate level net list. What do you mean by gate level net list? You know that your FPGA or any other embedded system is comprising of a small uh, subsystems, or we can say at gate level. So whatever you are doing at a higher level is broken or refined to a gate level netlist. So that is the first and foremost thing which is done when you click that synthesis button. Now when for most of the design, the synthesis can be performed automatically using RTL synthesis tool, the way you had done. And it starts with the model of design defined to the register transfer level. I hope you remember when you used to synthesize and everything was complete, you used to see RTL schematic by double clicking your created generated model from the Xilinx tool. So that is refining to register transfer level. In earlier days, when long before your Xilinx came into picture, it used to be a simple pattern recognition of the HDL source code to determine which hardware circuits were implied. So this is different. Long back it started with the pattern recognition in the source code, but now it is not that way. Now it is all very much advanced. And you have seen one synthesis tool like this. There are many different type of synthesis tool, and different synthesis tool accept different subsets of the input language. So any synthesis tool is mapped with a specific input language. When you have done Xilinx, it was accepting HDL, hardware description language. Same way, the syntax and all whatever is there for one, it may be different for other. So, but this input language is very important, because if you don't have this, it will be very difficult to develop any RTL model. And this RTL model, whatever is created, this will be more portable across a range of tools. So does your synthesis tool do? It starts by analyzing the model. Whatever you people have written the program, it starts by analyzing the model, and then it will be making sure that the code, whatever you have written, that code conforms to its style requirement as it is required for the synthesis. So that means what, synthesis, your design may be good at functional level, but it may not be synthesizable. But of course, whatever small programs or small design you people have done, there was no synthesis error much. Synthesis error will come only if your code is not feasible enough to um, get synthesized in any hardware. So this comes at a higher level, at a complex level. So what does synthesis take care? It will use primitive circuit elements which is selected from the technology library. You must remember that you used to use the keyword which is already there in the library, and you were making your program. So when synthesis happens, it will check those things and then synthesize the circuit. So what does it do? It is the process of translating the design into a circuit of library component, whatever it already has, circuit of library component, and which is also guided by synthesis constraint that we specify. Of course, when you had done in your lab, you never gave any constraint and all. But when it is done at a higher level in a complex embedded system, that time we generally give constraints also. We will discuss more about this constraint when we go to the optimization part. So, what do you mean by constraint? Constraint can be of various type. So, for example, you have to imagine if I have two alternative circuit structure which can implement the same functionality from the RTL code. But if I give the constraint in such a way, for example, one of the design, if I give a constraint that it should be fewer gate, lesser number of gates should be used, then what will happen? If I say that lesser number of gate should be used, then what will happen? It will uh, get connected to a deeper chain, means getting the certain intermediate values. And deeper chain means what? It will have more propagation delay. For example, if I say fewer gate means what? I am trying to work upon the less circuit area. Now if you work upon a lesser circuit area, you have to go into more wire connection. You connection of wire will be more. Why? Because some intermediate value would have been generated, and it would have been better to generate it again for any requirement of the same variable at later part in the design. But now you told I want less gate, so it will not calculate it again, it will use the first calculation only. So what will happen? Number of wires or length of wire increases. So if length of the wire increases, then of course propagation delay increases. So this is one example where I say that I want lesser number of gates. So it will give rise to a more propagation delay. On the other hand, if I give a constraint, if I define the constraint that it is fine with me, I want more number of gates, then what will happen? The number of wires connecting and all will be less, smaller, because you are again and again recreating. For example, A and B may be created many times, but when you say fewer gates, it will be created only once, and that A dot B will be used with wire wherever you want. So of course this wiring, the chain will be less. So we say that gates are connected less deeply, we say it that way, and so it will have less propagation delay. So what happens in the first case? Our constraint was area, and in the second case our constraint was the speed. So this is how, what do you mean by constraint? So synthesis, you have to remember this point of synthesis constraint. So please remember it whenever you write these answers also. So what happens in making any timing based choices in this constraint, the tool will be using simple wire model to determine the wire delay based upon the average wire length and loading. Since at this stage the actual layout and wiring is yet to be done. Now what do you mean by actual layout and wiring is yet to be done? Here we simply synthesize and see whether it is possible to synthesize the given design. Now if you are at synthesis, we finish at the tool level only. Now simulating the synthesized design and make it sure that it is working at as the same RTL design, then it should be a good check that we have to use this design tool correctly. Okay, now once all this is done, then only we go to physical design. Now, physical design means what? Whatever you have done at synthesis design, then you go for physical design. If the circuit is synthesizable, then only we will be going for this physical design. Now, I told last point under synthesis was that uh, still the wiring and all these part are remaining. So you decide in synthesis that which gate what function will be done, but placing that gate, deciding the connection between those gates, and the complete plan of the embedded system is still pending in physical design. So synthesis design means it is synthesis. It means that it will be taking care of converting it to gate level, and physical design means it will take that gate level, place it, route it, and this will decide the floor planning. Now physical design, the final stage, this is the final stage, physical design. The final stage in the design flow of this physical design, what do we do is, in this the gate level design is converted into an arrangement of circuit elements in an ASIC. What is ASIC? Application specific integrated circuit. Or build the programming file that configures each element in an FPGA. So all that is done under physical design. Of course, you people have not done this part, but then also you would have, if you get a chance, you should go and see in your tool that there is an option of floor planning there also, because in industry also they use the same Xilinx tool, and once it is done, then they will have the floor plan, and then they can do certain changes there also before actually manufacturing it. So physical design is the last step for manufacturing. So what is done in this is floor planning, how the things will be there in the PCB, the embedded system. Then placement means placing of each gate, and routing means the connection between each of that part. So the first step, that is the floor planning, it involves deciding where each of the block in the partition design is to be located on the chip. So you have seen, no, so many things will be there. So each part where it will be located, and what all factors influence the floor plan. There are a number of factors. I have not listed on the slide, but you can make a note of this. There are number of factors that influence the floor plan. Number one, blocks that has large number of connections. And if the blocks that have large number of connection, where it should be placed, it is by common sense you can understand, it should be placed near to each other, where whichever blocks have large numbers of connection between them. So two blocks whichever has large connection between them should be placed near to each other. Why? So that the wire length and wiring congestion can be reduced. This is number one point. Again, number 2 point, when you have a block which is required to be connected to external pins, so where it should be placed? It should be placed near the edge of the chip, because you all know that a chip will have various connections, the legs all around the chip. So if whichever block requires connection with the outer world or the external pins, that should be placed near the edge of the chip. So the position of each block which determines this allocation and positioning of pin for external connection. So number one was having large number of connection, those blocks are kept near each other. Number two was wherever external pins are connection with external pins are involved, that is placed at the boundary of the chip, at the near the external connection. Next, we all know that uh, the third point you have to note is the blocks should be arranged so that the chip should be close to square, because you all know na, you have never seen anything other than square or rectangular chip. You can't make your placement in such a that you get a triangular or a polygon shaped chip. Chips are always square or rectangular, so we have to see that it is as close possible to square, since that influences the size of the package. So square is better than rectangular, so please make a note, square is better than rectangular chip. So that is third point. Fourth point is floor planning also involves the arrangement of power supply and ground pin. You all know that power supply and ground pin is part of each and every digital circuit, so that is also part of floor planning and the internal connection. And also you know that clock signal has to be distributed across the chip. So you remember the fourth point, the distribution of clock chip, distribution of power supply, and distribution of ground pin. These three things are there which will be flowing across the chip. So the planning for these three connection is also very very important. So and finally, the last point is we have to see that there is a provision of channels for laying out the interconnection between blocks. So whatever has more connection we had placed with each other, but we have to make provision or a space available for any further connection between those blocks. So these are the five important points for floor planning. Okay. Now, why floor planning is so important? Floor planning is important because we have to see that uh, you know that EDA tool or any automated tool will be able to give some floor plan, and it can we can visualize that floor plan using any such tools. But later, to make it more optimized better, we can analyze it to give an alternate floor plans to determine figure of merit. Figure of merit means the final performance of the circuit. Okay, so determining the floor plan of any application specific IC is very very important, and it decides the basic performance of the circuit. So once we decide the floor plan, then we come to placement and routing. So what all I discussed till now was related to floor plan. Now coming to placement and routing, what does it do? It involves each cell of the floor plan, and we have to find a path for connection. I mean to say, you have placed all the blocks, whichever should be at the edge, whichever should be near to each other, whichever is far for each other, and you had kept the place or provision for the connection. You had decided to some level where my clock signal wire will flow, where my VCC wire will flow, where my ground wire will flow. All that was decided at a crude level. But when you do the routing part, there we will be doing in detail that part. So what do we do is, the main goal is to position all cell and route all connection. And what you have to do, you have to minimize the area and delay for any critical signal. So the most important goal of routing, placement and routing is, after floor planning, is placement and routing. The main important goal is that we have to minimize the area, and we should see to it that critical signals should not be delayed. And it should also um, suit it. So what is placement and routing? Placement and routing is a, a group of files, a suite of files, which will be sent to the chip foundry for fabrication. So this is the last part before fabrication. So it should be brought in a form so that the fabrication foundry, these people should be able to understand. So it is blueprint of the chip. So this is a group of file or suite of file which will be sent to the fabrication industry. Okay, so now once we do this, we can also generate detailed timing information based on the actual position of component and wires. Till this time, we were not able to do that because we did not come to this detail of the design. So now, with your blueprint ready, we will be able to generate detailed timing information. Why? Because we know the actual position of component now, we know actual position of wire. So this is more accurate simulation model of the gate level design. Okay, so this is about your physical design with floor planning and placement and routing. Now, next is design optimization. So here your design flow finishes. Of course, when you talk about design optimization, most of these steps will be revisited. So you please remember how it started with. Number one was architecture exploration, in which you had your partitioning of your architecture in logical and physical. Next came your functional design, where you had seen whether your program is performing the same function what the uh, consumer wanted to do, and whether you are using a new implementation or reusing a given one, whether you are using a tool or what, all that comes under functional design. Then you had come to testing part with various aspect. After testing, we saw synthesis, and then we saw the physical design part. So next we have to start with the optimization part, design optimization. So design optimization also has three things, three factors, which I will do in the next part.